The Australian government just made a sudden deal. The Greens and the Labour Party agreed to effectively ban everyday Australians from using their self-managed super funds to borrow money for residential property, and they didn't leave much time to prepare. Once the legislation is formally introduced, investors have just 45 days to get their deals across the line before the door slams shut. When a market shock like this hits, the average person tends to freeze. They panic. They pull back and start scrolling through the internet, hoping a finance guru or a magic market cycle will tell them what to do next. But waiting for total clarity during a legislative scramble guarantees you will be left behind. The longer you wait for everyone to agree on the right move, the faster your window of opportunity closes. While regular buyers are paralyzed, high-volume buyers agencies do the exact opposite. Behind the scenes, these teams aggressively secure over 25 properties a week. The elite investors, the operators, treat market volatility as background noise. Instead of debating the news, they immediately shift their focus to the mechanics of getting the deal done. Building real wealth does not come from predicting the exact bottom of the market. It comes from adapting to new rules faster than anyone else is willing to. To see why timing the market is a trap, look at the models people rely on. Right now, speculative investors are obsessed with the 18.6-year land cycle to map out their purchases. This model didn't come from nowhere. It was built by observing the historical rhythms of older, deeply established economies, specifically the United Kingdom and the United States. But lifting a model from the US or the UK and pasting it onto Australia breaks down quickly. Australia is a much younger country, and its property dynamics are highly localized and entirely different. This chart shows the disconnect. In 2020, this cycle predicted a slowdown, but real-world data showed a historic boom. We're seeing it again. Instead of a universal crash, the data fragments, cooling in some areas, hitting record peaks in others. Trusting an imported, rigid formula over what the local data is actively doing is dangerous. It keeps investors stuck on the sidelines, totally blind to the highly profitable deals sitting right in front of them. So if we ignore the 18-year cycle, how do we solve the immediate 45-day SMSF problem? You have to execute a complex property acquisition before the government shuts it down entirely. High-volume buyers use parallel processing. Instead of doing one step at a time, they compress the timeline by running every critical task simultaneously. They give the accountant exactly 2 days to set up the legal entity. The moment that starts, they trigger the 2 to 3 week superfund rollover. At the exact same time, the mortgage broker is given weeks to secure finance, while the team sources the property. They don't scramble to save up cash for the deposit either. They aggressively extract equity from the properties they already own, giving them the instant capital required to move. The result of moving this fast is tangible. Right now, they are locking in deals in Victorian hotspots, securing yields around 4.5 to 4.7%, and executing it all without pulling a single dollar out of their own pockets. Pulling off a purchase in a few weeks isn't about running around in a panic. It is about deploying a pre-built, highly organized system the second a crisis forces your hand. Once this 45-day window closes, it is over. The ability for the average worker to leverage their retirement savings to buy residential property is gone for good. The speculators who decided to wait for their prediction models to feel safe have effectively missed out on a massive closed-door opportunity. Government policy is inherently volatile. If there is one thing you can guarantee, it's that future market shocks and sudden legislative reversals will happen again. Going forward, the most successful investors will not be the ones with a secret chart. They will be the ones with highly responsive accounting teams and deep pools of accessible equity. This is the operator mindset. You spend the quiet periods in the market actively building up your financial structures, so when the chaos inevitably hits, your finger is already on the trigger. The real winners in property don't waste energy guessing the future. They focus entirely on building the agile machinery required to exploit the present.